Don't say anything. Don't say anything. Don't say anything. They might hear us. Wow. Mm-hmm.
Meow.
Fist bump to you, cousin.
Fist bump.
Don't you take that from
Fist bump.
I'm not going to take it.
Fist bump. Fist bump.
I'm not going to take it from you. I'm just going to borrow it from you every single week that we ever do this show.
What's up? Tim Gilmansky, Gumball's Game Room, JRB, the Game Cat B, Robert Sullivan, Johnny Rypop, Kev Gret. Oh man, Kev Gret's so thirsty for that top 20, man. The blood. The blood.
Well,
he can
Kev
taste
Gret,
it already.
if you want to kill the hype a little bit, we've already decided Immortal Legacy is number 1.
Jack E, Delirium, Drew, Stay Warm, Rhodey, my dude. I loved Rhodey's intro with Wonder Rob the other day. Turtle Man OG. Ace Phil, my dude. Damien R. Hey man. PSVR boy. Guru, JD Meout, the Game Cat.
Wow. Jesus Christ, I wasn't prepared.
Figolo. What is up, Decepticon? Oh yeah.
Decepticon. Oh yeah.
Bum.
Delirium Drew. All right, I think that's everybody.
Is it?
Yeah, we said every single person's name.
On the face of the planet.
On the face to the planet. That's
face to the planet. Mr. Budget, I like your icon. One Punch Man. Let's do it.
Ooh, One Punch. Excellent. This is PSVR GamesCast Live, where we film live every Thursday night at 6 p.m. Eastern. We bring it to you live at the exact same time because that's what live means. I don't think that needs to be explained. And we talk about PlayStation VR news, we talk about PlayStation VR games, releases, and just kind of waste a whole lot of your time. That's what we're here for. As always, make sure you hit us up on patreon.com/withoutparolegames for $1 or more every single month. If you like what you see, subscribe to the channel, like the video, and also, submit your viewer takeover questions, #viewer takeover, join our Discord. Also, change your name to GameCat, #GameCat in the comments. We give you a shout out every week's viewer takeover. I feel like I've done this a few times. My name's Bryan Paul from this channel right here, Without Parole, and to my far left is AJ from his own channel, PSVR Underground, but also he has a nice, comfy home right here at Without Parole. AJ, how's it going, buddy?
Oh man, couldn't be better. Been chilling with the Game Cats a bunch lately. Had a fun stream of Gran Turismo yesterday. God, that game is so much fun. Got to just mess around, and it was funny because as I was playing Gran Turismo, they were all pretending to be cats in the back of my car. So every time I turned, they were saying they were like smashing up against the side of the walls, and
a little bit of role playing.
They were clawing. They were clawing at the door handles and stuff like that. It was cracking me up. So thank you guys so much for everybody who checked that out. And it was a lot of fun.
And this guy here between us is Dave from Davestation VR, our good buddy, good friend, who is, dude, I got to be honest, man, I have not been watching your channel much lately because I've been bogged down with everything that's going on here.
Oh, yeah, no, I know you don't have much time.
What have you been up to recently?
Well, so first of all, I want to say right off the bat, I think I told you guys, but as far as the whole me dropping off an hour early every other week, I think that's going to change to every 3 weeks now. So I should be able to stick around a little bit more often.
More Dave to go around.
That'll be a lot of fun. We can get into those 3-4 hour episodes whenever we feel like it. But otherwise, I put together a little video for anybody who's got a Quest out there. You can put Half-Life on it, which is pretty cool. Otherwise,
that is pretty cool, actually.
Yeah, and I haven't done a Wolfenstein one yet, but I need to get around to Wolfenstein. Otherwise, I had a pretty fun Everybody's Golf stream because they have new goth outfits and they have a new caddy, who is this little German lady who's very like chibi. She's like an anime. She's short. She's got big eyes and stuff.
Nice.
I don't like her too much. Steve's new costume, quite good. I like Steve as a caddy. I never played with him before because they took so long to get a Steve. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I haven't played with Steve yet.
It's way too expensive for the DLC, but it was a good excuse to play it again.
Does Steve, obviously all the caddies kind of have their own experiences, like the things that like
they do,
the interstitial things. So I'm like, so do you go?
Okay, so I got to tell you,
do you go on dates with Steve?
You do, but they're not exactly dates. They're not exactly.
You like fist bump?
Yeah, it's more like low key. He's not romancing you that much. Although there might be ones where he is, and I missed him. Oh, we got Aceville, big man, Aceville.
Dude, Aceville's given us a huge donation, saying making up for his Patreon lapse. Says my bad. I've gotten a few messages from people recently saying that things have been going on in their personal lives and stuff. We totally always understand that, and we were. I was nervous because it seems like Patreon support was dropping off like crazy at one point, and I was like, "Is everybody okay? And are we totally screwing up as a channel?" But everyone's coming back and being like, "Hey, man, here we are. We're still here, and we love you guys. Thank you very much."
Put aside the donation. Aceville is just a kick-ass dude.
Yeah, great guy. Yeah, he awesome. Knows to hang out on the Discord, just like all the really awesome.
I still don't know what Aceville looks like, but I know what his kid Adrian looks like, and I know what his cat Harmony looks like.
There you go.
Because of that viewer takeover introduction. And
extrapolate based on the facts you have. Do a police sketch based on what his kid looks like and his cat looks like.
And he sounds like he was like born and raised. He's from Brooklyn, but he sounds like he was born and raised there for sure. He's got that distinctly Brooklyn accent. So, all right, back to it. Dave, you were telling me that, and I don't want to stay on Quest too long here, but I'm super excited to side quest my Quest so I can do old Virtual Boy games.
Yeah, so I told Bryan about this. There's an emulator on SideQuest that lets you play old Virtual Boy games. I downloaded all of them. There's like only 22, and it was like 11 megabytes for every single Virtual Boy game that's ever been released.
Amazing.
But it actually looks pretty crisp. I mean, the display's way better than a Virtual Boy would have been. You don't have to set it on a table and all that shit. And I found it to be pretty cool as somebody who'd never tried Virtual Boy before.
Yeah.
But I kind of wanted to, we don't have to get into a huge discussion about it, but it was cool to see like how far we've come from the initial like attempts at virtual reality in 3D, because it's pretty much a stereoscopic screen. Like it's the same concept, but we've gotten so much further than that. And I had never seen like the precursor, you know what I mean?
Right.
So it's really interesting to compare, because so many people still say PSVR is like not there yet as far as technology goes.
Those people are insane.
Dude, what the fuck? Right? Even the Virtual Boy's fun. So like this is way better. I don't know.
Yeah, even my dad,
some of those are still pretty cool.
Even my dad, who's like a hardcore gamer and has been like since before I was born, is like he's like I'm gonna wait till next generation for VR. And I was like, well, he tried like Rush of Blood. He tried a bunch of games over here, and so he's gonna wait. What are you gonna do?
I would assume the older you get, the less you care about resolution and stuff. I don't know.
I would think the older you get, the less you care about waiting. You're like, I don't know how much time I have left. Exactly. Like I want everything right now.
That makes a lot of sense, actually. Yeah.
It does indeed. Right. Listen, guys, real quick here before we get the show really started, I want to say that we were Des and I filmed a Litterbox episode a couple days ago. We aired that yesterday, and before he talked about a very cool ass robot, we floated the idea of, hey, what about a GameCat meetup, Six Flags, October 19th. And that's Six Flags New England. So it's a little distance from us, but it's much bigger distance from a lot of you guys. And the second we brought that up, it was very well received. And so I just got off the phone with Des, Amanda, Mikey Sensei, and who Mikey and Amanda want to plan this thing. We now have an official date for the GameCat meetup, and it is in fact October 19th. So
October 19th.
So here's
going to Six Flags.
We are.
Saturday. It's a Saturday.
It's a Saturday. We're going to be there pretty much from the beginning when the park opens, so the park closes. My idea for after that is let's all just like go like storm a theater and go watch a scary movie. And we'll just fill the theater up with game cats, man. I don't know how many people are going to show up, but according to the Discord server last night when we were all talking about it, like everybody was interested. And so, I mean, I was getting super excited about it. And now that we have the official date, now that everybody's on board, Jeremy's coming. Are you guys coming?
Yeah, we're definitely
there.
Coming.
These guys are coming.
We were talking about syncing up our flights last night.
We were working on syncing up
down.
our flights, and yeah, man.
And tell them about the group discount too.
Halloween season. Hopefully, Fright Fest is going on, and of course, there's going to be tons of VR games around that time that we know about. And then, last but not least, we're going to try to film something special for you guys, me and Dave and Bryan, all together.
We're going to try to film a bunch of stuff, make it worth our while to do this trip. Also in tons of filming at the park. And so basically that's it for the day. It's going to be like we want to make the most of this one day where everyone's together. I know some people were talking about maybe like renting a house near Six Flags. So that
Wonder Rob is crazy, man.
That would be fun. That would be so fun though. Like afterwards, like a house party. I would love that.
So Six Flags New England, just for everyone in the chat who's confused, there's only one in New England. It's in Agawam, Mass, which is, I mean, I I don't even know where Agawam is. I just go GPS, tell me, and I drive that way. But it's so that's the thing. It's almost 3 months away. So that this is the perfect time to announce it, because you can still get cheap flights and cheap hotel accommodations. And now that it's official, we can finally say this is happening. I don't know if it's going to be 10 people or 100 people, which either one scares me, because I'm like meeting people in real life. I'm like, I don't know. You guys are all crazy for doing this in the first place, but I'm happy to meet you all. It's going to be awesome.
And just to give you guys an idea of like, if you are thinking about pricing it out and stuff, Bryan has a little bit of a hookup with his brother as far as getting a group rate potentially.
We're gonna see. He's out of the country. He's actually out of the country till tomorrow, so I wasn't able to contact him before the show. But
he had already floated the idea to you before, right? He said I could do something like that.
Yeah, he was saying basically like, maybe we can get a discounted rate. Maybe we can be able to get like some tables that are going to be assigned to us. So it's going to be hard, obviously, like if a ton of people show up, for everyone to be wandering a park from the beginning of the day till the end of the night together. So we're gonna have like designated meetup locations that are assigned to us. So we're gonna know more about that within the next week or so, and hopefully by the time we film Viewer Takeover, we'll have that information for you for next week. So we definitely want to get an idea of who's coming.
Yeah, and the other thing too is, as far as like ticket prices, it's long enough out. Like Bryan said, you can get them pretty cheap. AJ and I looked, and I think we were seeing somewhere between like 130 and 160 round trip, which is really, really good. Now I'm in Florida, he's in Atlanta, so it'll probably depend. If you're in California, maybe it's not $130, but there's definitely some good ticket prices out there. JetBlue, Southwest, all kinds of good airlines. So yeah, take a look.
Yeah, and if you take the Wonder Rob route and start thinking about getting a group together, people who like live near you or people who you want to meet up with or you've become friends with online, and you like rent a house, you get a bunch of people together, that could actually be potentially very cheap compared to like hotel rooms even. So just plenty of time to kind of to start thinking it over and start looking at options. And if you guys need any of our help, obviously, just to kind of get an idea of where you should be going, where you should be staying, we'll do our best on our end to provide that information for you. Unfortunately, as far as money's concerned, you're all on your own, because this is going to be expensive for even us who live nearby. Six Flags isn't cheap, and all the driving and everything. So we'll all do our best. This is the first time we've ever done anything like this. Again, we don't know if it's gonna be 10 people or 100 people, but whoever shows up I'll be thrilled if anybody shows up.
And honestly, even if we can't get the group discount thing going, I can get cheap ones through my job, and I might be able to buy more than one. So I'll look into that, and if that doesn't pan out, maybe I can get a few people at least. I saw they were like 40, 45, so pretty cheap for a Six Flags ticket.
That's awesome.
JD Max, the Game Cat, says, I only stay at the finest of hotels.
Why wouldn't he?
Make sure he has a yes.
Why wouldn't he? We got a nice.
You guys could all split the presidential suite somewhere.
We got a nice donation from Rager Gamer Aaron. Thank you for the £1 donation. Yeah, Rager.
Holy crap!
What?
Self-Destruction says that my 56-year-old dad loves his PSVR and is hardcore enough that he soloed all the Souls games in Bloodborne. He's been a gamer since he was a teen. That's awesome, Self-Destruction. I love Bloodborne. I love it.
I love Bloodborne too. I've never beaten it. I've spent a lot of hours, and I'm probably not nearly halfway through.
I was working on the Platin, and then PSVR came out, and I was like, I will come back to you, my love.
Yeah, I feel like if you're that age and you grew up on like NES and arcade games and stuff, you're like, they said this is supposed to be hard. This Bloodborne game, I don't get it. It's not really that hard. Because, I mean, it's still less punishing than a lot of old games. You know what I mean?
For sure. Yeah, this is no Contra. This is no Mega Man, as far as I'm concerned. Ooh. All right, guys.
Sekiro is balls hard, though. Sekiro was hard as fuck.
Was it really?
I got to a point where I just couldn't go any further. I had to give up.
Gotcha. All right, guys. No new PlayStation VR games out on the store this week. That's not something we hear very often. It's almost I almost breathe a sigh of relief when it happens. I'm like, okay, time to get caught up. Spend some time playing some old games for Why We Love episodes, and and trying to catch up on reviews. I've got a couple in the works. I thought I'd have more done by now, but don't worry, there are plenty on the way. But even without any new games, there's a ton of PlayStation VR news that dropped this week, and I think we should probably get started on that, because we always talk about this for way too long.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So AJ, you want to take us away with the first news story of the week?
Let's take it away, Scott. So first of all, there was there was a game, I guess, as according to you, this used to be called Zero Killed, which we knew a little bit about it. That's a first-person multiplayer shooter. At the time, before Firewall came out, everybody was talking about when Zero Killed, Zero Caliber, and then Firewall came out. And Firewall was the first to launch, obviously pretty successful for the most part. And they're showing this Special Force Infinity War, which I was lingering around Twitter and saw an update on that. And yeah, I mean, some of it looks kind of cool. Looks like it could be a really good, first-person shooter. Some of it also looks kind of just generic. So
now,
I don't know.
Real quick clarification. Even though it's called Infinity War, there's no Thanos. You're not shooting Thanos. You aren't the Hulk. It's just a really poor choice of subtitle, I think.
And also that was a miscommunication on my part. I don't think this was actually the Special Force. This was just one of.
So this is separate.
I think this is separate. And for some reason we're only seeing a small amount of the screen, so I'm trying to shrink it down so you can see the whole trailer. Man, nothing goes right. There we go.
Yeah, it looks like it could actually be good, but we're back to the conversation of, can a multiplayer only game sustain itself on VR, because we know plenty of them have trouble doing that. However, a first person shooter that's like this, usually has a good chance. I would think it really just depends on the game. We got to see more details on it and stuff like that, but it looks like it has potential for sure.
Also, I mean, the trailer does have gameplay, which looks fairly good. A lot of trailers we're going to look at today don't have any real gameplay, but this one looks pretty decent. I know that's PC footage, but if it was this polished on the PSVR, and it's a deathmatch game, it's 8-player deathmatch, so there's no Firewall, people saying, oh, why can't we just shoot each other? All those people who want other modes in Firewall, I feel like this will sort of become that outlet. And if Firewall keeps having server issues and breaking the game and stuff, I could see people migrating over to something different. So if it's polished and it's solid, I think it has a chance to survive out there.
We'll see. I mean, that's the thing. There's not a lot of first-person shooters that are really dominating, other than Firewall's dominating because it's the only one. I mean, it's a great game, don't get me wrong, but it has zero competition right now.
The question is this thing going to make it out before Sniper Elite VR? Because that looks crazy polished.
Does that have multiplayer?
I don't know. Does it?
I don't think they talked about multiplayer.
No,
I think it's all single player.
And so as going to be a different single player guy, like, I'm very excited about that one for sure. We've already talked about it before, but
speaking of which, just sort of related to that, the next PS Plus games are Sniper Elite flat screen to get you ready if you've never played the series. Check it out, see what it's like.
Nice.
Get pumped for the VR version. And then the other one is Wipeout Omega Collection, which of course has VR support. So everybody's been saying for months and months, hey, Sony, give us some new free games that are in VR on PS Plus, and they finally did. Wipeout is awesome if you don't have it already. You got to get it.
So incredible. We can talk a little bit about Wipeout real quick. Most of us already know about it because we were there day one. I know I was like there. We all got the call at 3 a.m, like the VR patch dropped. The VR patch. Everybody pre-ordered it or like bought it when it was on sale for like $15, and then waited. Was just waiting for that patch, and I think it was March 31st is when it came out. Funny enough, I know because it was the same day Preda came out. Speaking of which, the Preda servers are back online. Oh my God, that is crazy.
Weird news of the day.
Very weird news, but but Wipeout, man, it's one of those few games that every time I step into it, the first thing I'm just like, wow.
Yeah.
Like every time, it doesn't matter how many times I played that game. Every time I jump back in, it just blows me away the first sight of it. And yeah, anybody that hasn't picked it up, definitely grab it while it's free on PlayStation Plus. Also nice to see a PSVR game get some love. It's been a minute.
Finally.
Yeah. The two things about Wipeout specifically for me is, obviously I think when most people see this, they go, oh, I'm going to get my vomit bag ready. This is, I'm not going to be able to handle this. But Dez can play this. And if you guys have been following Dez on Why We Love PSVR, you know that there's specific games that he can't play. He does play this with all of the blinders on, meaning like there's literally physical pieces of the ship that will block out your peripheral vision, and so he does play it with that on. And there's also an option which I have to play with it on, that'll basically allow your ship to kind of float and be separate from the track. because a comfort mode you can turn on is that you are always vertical, and then your ship is doing this. But I have to play with that off, so it's more like you're on a roller coaster, so your vision is going as you turn. And absolutely. That, as far as I'm concerned, that is one of the most intense feelings you can have in VR. And so if you can handle it, make sure that option is on. Because, man, even when you're just sitting there waiting for the race to begin, and you're just floating, and you're subtly doing this, you're just like, man, I am sitting on my couch right now, but I'm floating on a track in the future. Like, it just, there's no other feeling like it.
Is that separate from the option where when you do a flip, it allows you to get the actual rotation, or is that all the same option? Do you know? Because there's one where it's like you separate the player from the camera.
There are so many options in Wipeout. I have to admit that, and they're not exactly well named. Like the option screen, you just have to experiment with things, and so I don't actually know if that's the same option. But yeah, you can do barrel rolls.
There's all kinds of stuff you can do. And if you are worried about motion sickness and stuff, like you said, the blinders are there, but the performance is one of the most smooth. Like there's nothing that would give you that kind of, if you drop some frames or if it's not running at the right, performance. Sometimes games get choppy and you feel sick. This is so perfectly smooth, unlike most games on PSVR. I'm saying there aren't many like it, I guess.
No, for sure. So experiment with the options. I wish I had screenshots of all the options so you know exactly how to turn every comfort setting off. But it's just not that easy. The developers named all the options strangely, so you just have to experiment. So,
I mean, even among our experts here in the chat, we're getting differing opinions. Madman says it's 2 separate options. Joystick says same option. So who knows? Go play with it, see what you like, and it's free. Yeah, get in there.
I'm not going to take sides, but I think you'll know who I take sides with. No offense, Joystick. All right.
Well, Joystick plays so much of that game. He's like the king of Wipeout.
Yeah.
He plays. So if you guys want to hop in for multiplayer, I'm sure.
Yeah, dude. What is it, like 8-player multiplayer?
It is. Yeah, 8 players.
Yeah. It's amazing. It's amazing. Yeah, I definitely remember that day where I think it was JD who called me at like 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock in the morning, and it was just notification after notification. It was Facebook, it was Twitter, it was Snapchat, and I was getting notifications from all sides, from all the game cats being like, dude, it's happening right now.
It's a big deal.
Yeah, well, and that was also a point where we were like just desperately like we needed more games. There was no games.
That's the thing. A lot of people, if you compare this year and last year, last year we had Wipeout, we had To the Top, I had Preda, a couple of us.
Nobody else had Preda. You're the only one.
We did have like Moss and Sprint Vector. I think maybe Apex Construct later on, but that was like it at the time. This year we've had everything from the Ace Combat VR missions.
Did you leave out Astrobot? That was a big one.
I'm talking about the beginning of the beginning.
Oh, the beginning of the year.
Gotcha. Second half of 2018 was like night and day. I mean, we got hit with Astrobot. We got Firewall, Tetris, all this stuff. So, but if you compare, all I was doing was comparing the beginning of this year and the beginning of last year. It's way different. I mean, not only with the announcements we've gotten, like for No Man's Sky and stuff, but the games, Blood and Truth, Everybody's Golf, Five Nights at Freddy's. The list goes on.
Ace Combat 7.
Yeah. Ace Combat 7 experience and stuff. So
AJ's already making the top 20 list if you weren't aware. That's what he's doing. He's like, number 1 is this, number 2 is number 3, number 4, number 5. Yeah, we should probably talk a little bit about our upcoming top 20 conversation. We've been saying one thing and then saying another thing, and we finally got it down to a date, which is what, the 15th? Is that right?
Yes, 15th is our top 20 list. So make sure each and every single one of you are there. We are probably going to be using the Discord to vote. Last time we did the voting system, we did it in the chat. So what the problem was, we had like multiple votes of the same, like people voting twice, people that were coming in late and stuff like that. So, I know it sounds like a lot of work to sign up for the Discord if you don't have a Discord, but I promise you, if you just click on the link, disable the notifications, that's all you need. We'll have straw polls, and it's going to be an absolute bloodbath. I cannot wait for this thing.
And if anybody's new, just to clarify, that happens on this show, and so we
hash it out.
Yep.
We butt heads. We figure out what the audience thinks is good. We figure out what we think are good. Right. Sometimes we ignore each other or the audience. Sometimes we agree with each other or the audience. It's an exciting time.
It is,
and it'll take 7 hours.
And that way, everybody who wants to be part of it, when every single time we post a top 20 list, somebody out there is like, "Hey, sorry, that's a siren over here. Surprise, fucking surprise."
People already
wait, hold on. Are we doing the rock paper scissors?
Oh, I forgot that we do that. Yeah, I'm down. Ready? Rock paper scissors.
All right, you guys ready?
Yep. 1, 2, 3.
Scissored. Well, we both got AJ.
Right.
Are we scissor sisters?
Oh yeah, dude. If you want to be.
Yeah, I'm interested to see. I'm already seeing some people naming like some games they want. Also, guys on Fishbowl to you. There are some games people already naming. Ghost Giant made the last one, Kev. I don't know if you mean that's gonna. Yeah, Trover's one I'm gonna fight for. I really want to hear you in the chat right now. I'm interested to hear some games that you expect to see. What games do you expect to see in the top 20 that maybe more so that wouldn't be on the list traditionally, but make sure you're just very vocal about it, because sometimes we can forget about games.
Put it in all caps.
We're working on this list way ahead of time, so really, really excited. Cannot wait. There's going to be, a lot of games from that last list. I think about 50% of the list is going to change from the last one, because there's newer, bigger, fresher, better games that have come out since then. I love that list for what it was, but it's time to part ways with some of the older games.
And what I was saying before the siren interrupted us is that people every time a top 20 list goes up, people say, "Where's Job Simulator? Where's Rec Room? Where's this game? Where's that game?" And everybody's like, "They must not have played Doom VFR." It's like, I don't know if you watched the channel, but we have multiple reviews on that thing.
Oh yeah,
plus live streams, etc.
Madman says Mervils, and Hop on the Hype says Bravo Team. Somebody else says Project Lux. You guys are the worst.
We got an Arc Park.
Yeah, no, we'll be making that. Well, trust me, there will be a list that we're making with all of those games on it.
It's not the top 20, I'll tell you.
It's not the top 20.
Fries and Chip asks, are we still doing top 20, not top 25 or 30?
Top 20.
The reason it's staying at top 20.
Nobody wants a top 30.
No, the reason it's top 20 is because sacrifices have to be made. That's to show that these are the best of the best of the best. Yeah. And there's going to be good games, which we will follow up with later on. But there's going to be good games that are going to be left off the list, because we're talking about like the elite.
I love that Kev Gret asked, "Why is this trailer playing?" Because
what trailer?
I had Immortal Legacy playing for the last 5
years. I knew that's what it was.
That's
yeah. All right. We should probably move on. So yeah, guys. So make sure you tune in. If you don't tune in every week, then make sure you tune in on the 15th specifically, so that your voice can be heard. So that if you want to vote for Rec Room, if you want to vote for Job Simulator, like that, those games like have a voice, because they might not have a voice with us, but they will have a voice if enough of you say it. So we want this list to not just be AJ, Davestation, Bryan's list. We want it to be the GameCat list.
Everybody.
Right? We want everyone to have a voice, and we want everyone to be behind the next top 20 list. The one, our last top 20 list, which is less than 3 months old, has like 200,000 views, which makes it.
Are you kidding?
Yeah, which makes
really?
it the fourth most watched video on the entire channel.
Wow.
So like this is important to us.
It's a big deal, man.
This is our voice.
We are going to be representing. This list that you guys are going to help us create is going to be representing basically the list for PSVR games. So it's a big deal. We got to make sure we take it serious. And
you guys got to let me in on those voiceovers next time around.
Definitely. No, definitely.
All three of us can do it.
Absolutely. And just to address JT2, Gorn probably won't be out by then. And that's always the issue with these things, right? We don't even know if No Man's Sky will be out when we make the list. And so that's the thing, is it's going to be about a week between the episode where we film and make all the decisions and then the top 20 list actually going live. So if something like No Man's Sky drops between those two dates, we'll have an internal discussion and we'll say, hey, here's the top 20 list. Where does No Man's Sky VR belong on it?
Speaking of,
I
don't mean to cut you off.
Too late.
But we did have some news about No Man's Sky that I would love to share.
Okay. It's not the emoji, is it? That's not new. It's something different.
The emoji? What?
People were all up in arms because he responded about something about how long it would take with a certain emoji, and people were like, "That means it's taking longer than it should."
Oh, no. The actual news is
outrage culture, Dave. Outrage.
The actual news is that No Man's Sky today was rated, and it still says the summer. So it's nothing really changed there.
Right.
But I think, Dave, you said in your experience that, that means that it's coming out really soon. Like maybe.
Oh, I'm relying on other people.
Relying on other what?
Yeah,
other people who know better than me. I don't have any experience with it. I just know people say that all the time. It's either between a few weeks or a few months when that happens. But it had already been rated elsewhere in Australia previously.
Madman says
there are rumors going around that says the 16th. A few people have said that. I've seen that online.
Yep.
So if that's true, hell yeah, that'll be
Bryan,
incredible. That's really soon.
I am curious to just, if you wouldn't mind, real quick, sharing some of your first impressions of it so far. We don't have to go too far into it, but it would be cool to kind of just hear. We all know you've been streaming the first and probably last flat screen thing on the channel. But it's all in the name of VR. So
yeah, it's been daunting because No Man's Sky is a bigger game than I could have possibly expected in terms of mechanics and systems, and it's very, as you guys have mentioned before, very menu heavy. So getting around that and getting a handle on those systems has been a little bit rough, and especially doing it live for people to watch and make fun of me. It's a little daunting, but
I've been enjoying it, even though, and it's nice. I mean, there's been so many tips and stuff in the chat too to kind of remind me.
The chat's been amazing. The chat's been amazing.
Refresher course.
I was so ready for people to say, "F you, this isn't VR." I can't believe you're playing this, and that's been almost non-existent. Most people are like, "I can't wait for this game. I'm so glad you're doing this. I'm so glad you're getting your No Man's Sky chops down before the VR patch launches, so you're going to be able to speak proficiently about the game and about the differences between the VR and non-VR version when the patch drops." And that was my reasoning for doing it, and that's exciting to me to get to be familiar with this game. The thing I'll say though is that I was going to stream it every day, but I thought that it was going to be maybe 10 days until the patch dropped, and so it'd just be 10 live streams. And now it's looking like this could be like 16 days, and I just don't want to flood the channel with non-VR No Man's Sky streams. So I'm going to be playing a bunch offline and just on my own, and then probably maybe like 2 or 3 times a week we'll do some like big long epic streams, 4 to 6 hours long, and I can kind of catch you guys up every time I start a new stream, like, hey, last time on No Man's Sky when I was playing without you guys, I found this alien planet and I named this. Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think
you can fill it in. It doesn't have to be. I think it's probably the right idea to not, there's nothing wrong with doing it like this, but when there's no other VR content and it's just No Man's Sky, No Man's Sky, No Man's Sky, we want to have balance and stuff. Real quick, Ryan C., you rock, man. And also Reggie from Strange Game Studios is coming in. Reggie, good to see you, man. He's bringing some of his developer knowledge in here. And he's saying, yes, you need all your content mostly complete before submitting a rating, so it's late in the process. So, yep, it's basically on the edge, and we all are just like waiting in anticipation. Honestly, I'm surprised I'm even interested in any other game right now, but luckily I am, because there's some good games. But yeah, we are really close. So I'm hoping, rumors are the 9th and the 16th, what it seems to be. So if we do the top 20 list and this stuff and that game comes out right after, we're going to have to really take into consideration. I think it's really important that No Man's Sky be on this list, this next top 20 list. That is my goal for sure.
And I think it's important to keep in mind that part of the reason all of us are playing it is so that when VR drops, we'll already be familiar with how do I review No Man's Sky? Where does it fall? Because if the VR implementation works, well, we'll be able to tell in a couple hours that this is No Man's Sky in VR and it works. So I feel like a 1 week turnaround is enough time for us to decide where it fits on that list, with some experience. So should be good.
Just to clarify, we were talking about Wipeout being free as a PlayStation Plus game, but that's not until this upcoming Tuesday, right? Mm-hmm. So we've got, that'll be the 6th. So anybody who doesn't have it already, just wait another 5 days, and then you'll have it for free. So, all right, moving on. Man, I'm so excited about that top 20 list. But let's move on.
I know.
I get some surprises. You guys are going to be surprised by some of the games I bring to the table, and I'm sure you're going to shoot them right the fuck down.
Oh, really?
Oh, dude.
My number 3 is Neko Atsumu.
Perfect. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Every time AJ calls me, he's got more and more thoughts and suggestions about the top 20 list. And I was like,
I call Dave with it too. I can't help it, man.
It's not just you, yeah.
I gotta talk about it. I gotta help it shape my list too. So
it's the most wonderful time of the year. 4 times a year.
I've been getting into it in the Discord with the GameCast, like Kev Gret and stuff. And a bunch of them. I've been like already like shh. Like, don't tell anybody, but what do you think about this? Luckily, nobody saw that.
So I'll talk to Kev Gret and find out what your list is all about.
But yeah, I do hope No Man's Sky is part of that top 20 conversation. Absolutely, because personally, like I said before, I think it's going to be, if everything goes well at launch, I think it's going to take that #1 spot even.
I mean, it's very possible. This is I have never played for any substantial length of time outside of Spelunky on Vita. A flat screen game since PlayStation VR launched. I've spent very little time with any non-VR game, and this immediately roped me in. I was shocked how good this is. Here we are 3 years after launch. They've really, really improved this game, and if the VR support is even, I know everyone's concerned, how blurry is it going to be? I even if it's like kind of blurry, it's such an epic game that I almost don't care. Like if they manage to like shove all of this into PSVR, sign me up, man. I'm going to be very, very happy.
Absolutely.
Yeah. What's next on the list, AJ?
So the China Joy Festival is happening right now, I think, actually. And we haven't really gotten any new VR announcements for it. We did kind of last year. Last year they showed a trailer for Kill X, which is now known as our Kevin Gret's favorite game, Immortal Legacy.
Want me to bring the trailer for that back up?
No, that's okay. That's okay. What I would like to bring, though, they did mention there's a new Monkey King game, which there was like a Monkey King experience.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
It's an experience. It's just an experience. There's no gameplay.
Not worried about that. I did think it was cool that they announced a new like a new Romance of the Three Kingdoms, which is also known as Dynasty Warriors. I thought that was kind of cool.
Not in VR though. Not in VR.
Not in VR.
But also, Dynasty Warriors and Romance of the Three Kingdoms are separate games. Romance of the Three Kingdoms is a strategy game.
It's Dynasty Warriors is based off of Romance of the Three Kingdoms. So
it's like the same company, same world, that kind of thing.
I'd have to look more into it. I actually thought that they were. There's always been some translation mixes. There's actually been a Romance of the Three Kingdoms where I think it was actually Dynasty Warriors. It's always some mix in translation, but it doesn't matter. It's not VR, so we don't need to talk about it. But there is a game.
Speaking of VR Dynasty Warriors, though, in the vein of that horror sense game that we've talked about,
Daruma-san ga horror sense.
Daruma-san ga koronda. Yeah, I love that game.
Me too.
So that's part of a series that in VR arcades in Japan includes a Dynasty Warriors roller coaster and a Dynasty Warriors action game that looks kind of like, I don't know if you ever played in the arcades, that game that had a thing like a sword that it tracked, but it was kind of like Time Crisis, like dudes would come at you and then you'd go, like a light sword game. It was really cool. So I hope it's like that and it comes to PSVR at some point. Anyways, that's all.
What was, you were heading somewhere with this, AJ, right? With
China? So I wanted to revisit, we got most of the games that, I think one was actually Zero Killed, which we haven't gotten yet. But around that same time, there was a game that I wanted to revisit called AD 2047. And there's not any gameplay in the trailer that we have. But it is another like cyberpunk mystery story-driven game. And I did want to just show the trailer real quick for those that didn't see the trailer from last year.
Hold on a second. I've actually got a gameplay demo here from Upload VR. From
Upload.
Hey, Upload VR. We'll steal some of your footage here. Give me a second.
I love them.
The Jaggernaut. Yeah. So I like this comment from Lethal Weasel. He says, Dave looks like an edgy magician with the lighting. I got to tell you a personal story. One time, the first time I ever bought a blazer or like a nice jacket, it was on clearance. And I thought, this is pretty cool. It's a nice black one. And I tried it on and I thought it fit really well. I came out and my girlfriend immediately said, you look like a magician. And I was like, fuck you, I'm buying it anyways. And in retrospect, she was 100% right, because it was like a corduroy blazer, but it was black. Bad call on my part.
All right.
But I have been accused of looking like a magician before. So
nice. Let's see. Here we go. Let me get demo up here or the footage.
The reason I mentioned it is because I'm still waiting for that definitive. Go ahead.
Oh, Madman just donated £20.
Whoa.
Madman Black the Game Cat. He says, "Gotta go, guys. Thank you and good night."
Madman, thank you so much. We love you so very much.
You are the man.
And I'll tell you, I have not had my heart broken very often in all of my years. But when Madman said he probably can't make it to the meetup, my heart broke 3 times that day. Oh
God. Well, he's international though, right? He'd have to.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Maybe can we get a GoFundMe together so that we can pay for his flight with Mrs. Madman? Anyway, we got the thank you very much, Madman. We love you very much. We got the AD 2047 trailer playing right here, which does. It looks very escape room-ish with all the picking up and examining items, but
yeah, they haven't mentioned like a lot in terms of gameplay and stuff. But you know, the thing is, as much as I love Sirento, and I'm still waiting for that definitive VR Cyberpunk game.
Yeah,
and I really just want like the one. And I don't really know much about this, but all I know is that it's supposed to be like a mystery story kind of game. Maybe some shooting in it and stuff. I don't know. But, this was shown last year at China Joy, and we haven't really heard much since, so I'm hoping to see some more news on this one sometime soon. I think it was originally talked about to be like a 2019 title, so we shall see.
As far as style goes, as far as like just perfect art design, this game has it in spades. Everything I'm seeing here in this trailer just looks like everything I want in a VR game, except for the.
Where's the game? I don't know where the game is, though. It looks like all the stuff you'd want from a cool environment or cutscene or something, but I don't know what the game is. Yeah, so it's hard to get excited about because I don't know what the game is.
It's also true, but
it shows some shooting. It does show some.
Is that is it in gameplay footage or is it in like a cutscene where somebody shoots?
Yeah, it's definitely in-game footage, but it also looks like there's some, it's like you're in a room and then it shows like teleportation mechanics, and so I don't really know like how amazing it's going to be.
I think I might have seen the trailer from last year.
This is from last year. This is 11 months ago. So this.
Oh, okay.
I don't think we have any more updated gameplay footage than this. But it looks cool. I don't think this probably isn't going to be a $60 AAA game, but for what they're showing, I'm guessing probably a fairly small team, it looks awesome. Another siren on my end, ridiculous. All right.
Yeah. Just still waiting for Deus Ex and the next Deus Ex and Snatcher. I don't know if you guys ever played Snatcher.
Do you guys remember that we were supposed to get a VR experience for Deus Ex when it came out, and they never released it on PSVR?
Oh, I don't remember hearing that. That's crazy.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, they announced it, and then I think it might have come out on PC, but it never came to PSVR. But there was, they said, hey, there's going to be Deus Ex VR, and I was like, holy fuck, that'll be cool.
Awesome.
It was just going to be a mode, not like the full game or anything.
Right. I'd still die for that.
No, it would have been awesome.
Absolutely. It's one of my favorite series, of course.
That's part of the reason I bought the game, actually. I mean, I love Deus Ex, of course, but I was like excited about that.
All right, well, time to move on then. What do we got up next, AJ?
Concrete Genie, which was originally announced at the State of Play earlier this year. Finally got its release date, and it looks like, October 8th?
Yeah.
And, we do know that this game's getting lots of praise because it's creativity. And a lot of people are saying, like, what happened to PlayStation with all the creative games? And here's one of them. Asking you shall receive, I guess. But we do know that the PSVR mode is pretty limited. It's going to be more like this really, I think, I'm guessing they're going like the visually stunning, really pretty and artsy, kind of relaxing painting experience. And
but it is like spray painting, which is unusual, I think. Isn't it spray painting instead of actual painting? Or is something akin to like the way it looks on the wall is more like spray painting? You're painting on a wall. Yeah, instead of on a canvas.
Definitely street art style for sure.
Which is cool because we don't have a game like that yet. There was a VR game,
King Spray.
People wanted. Yeah, they really wanted that to come to PSVR, but I guess it hasn't, obviously.
Yeah, those developers kind of went silent. They said they were working on a PSVR port, and then they just kind of went silent. So man, because I think that was actually like multiplayer You like stand on rooftops
wow.
with your friends, and you all like create like
that sounds really fun.
You all tag together and make these creations, and you can save them and share them. But yeah, we haven't heard anything about that for quite a while on PSVR now.
Yeah, so I also heard when they first announced the VR stuff with Concrete Genie, aren't there 2 modes?
There are 2 modes.
There's 2 separate VR modes from the main campaign.
Yeah, and they really weren't talking about the second one as much as the painting one. So it's, again, I think they just wanted to do something in VR because this world, I think, will translate really well to it. But they weren't all in. So it's tough because this game, I think they said it's going to be $30. Is that right? $30, £40.
Oh, is it only $30? That's not bad.
There was a price that went along with the.
It was 30 or 40 if I recall.
Yeah, and so it's just it's tough because the game looks fun, even though it looks a little kiddish maybe. But and without full VR support, I'm like, I don't know how much time I'm gonna want to spend with this.
Well, the funny thing to me about it is that you said like bringing back that kind of creative, like childlike whimsy sort of kind of game that we haven't seen that many of on flat screen. I feel like we've seen a ton of those on VR, and it's interesting to have one that's a flat screen game that only has a VR component, because like if you think in Ghost Giant, Moss, like there's so many games that fit that mold of sort of a fantastical but really imaginative, kind of VR experience, whereas flat screen games, doesn't seem like they're as focused on that anymore. So it's weird to see it come back to flat screen, but then also have a VR component.
I like what Gabriel 004, the Game Cat, said in the chat. He said, like someone said, it's like Infamous for kids. I don't know if that was something someone else said in the chat earlier, but yeah, he actually does have like a Delson look to him from Infamous.
Second
Son, yeah. Like First Light, Second Son. I have no idea.
First Light, yeah. I think First Light was the DLC, the little add-on thing, but. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. I don't really know what to expect, but like, I'll definitely check it out. I love in VR visually like pleasing stuff is so even if not much to it, usually just when it looks great, it can actually have some legs with it. So we'll see.
Yeah, and I think I'm the one here who doesn't play in a flat screen game now and then. Kind of get so like, I don't know. I think I'll be into the flat screen game. And then the VR is a cool bonus too, but it looks good as a flat screen game to me as well.
Right on.
Yep.
All right. So moving on.
Oh man, Firewall Zero Hour.
I've heard of that game.
Dark Web.
Yes.
Dark Web.
They've actually got a new operation coming called Dark Web.
Have we seen footage by any chance?
No, they haven't
buy
really.
Heroin.
They haven't
a VPN. Never mind.
It's a different dark web, Dave.
I don't know, man.
But they basically said that there is a newsroom map.
Fake news.
Yep, and it's going to be coming out August 13th. So, and it's also going to kick off the launch for the new seasonal operation. So,
which everyone is very excited for.
I am very excited.
They want more money, guys. And now, one thing.
No,
I want to stop you real quick.
I am excited.
No. I'm not excited because thing. They fucked it up last time, and they didn't give people any, like, kind of recompense for that. They didn't compensate people.
Yep.
They said, okay, guys, well, you still have the same exact amount of time. You have to unlock this stuff, even though the game's been fucking broken for months, and you can't play it, and we're still going to take your money, and if you don't like it and you want to unlock it, buy hack keys. Right. And what I was thinking is, the way it was so fucked up, they had to be like, okay, guys, you get an extra 2 weeks. Or, okay, guys, we give you more XP. They said, fuck you. We're not going to pay you back for all that wasted time that you spent money to play. And we're just going to charge you again for another one, and you hope it works. So, like, I feel like they should have made a statement or made some kind of, like, made amends with people. Weird. You have to make amends with people if you screw them out of money.
Yep.
And that's kind of what they did. So...
But
I just like playing the game. That's all I care about. I'm glad that it's working.
Well, I mean, you don't care about any other stuff besides if the game's fun or not? Because if you can't play it, it doesn't...
I do. But again, we've gone back and forth a billion times. A lot of the stuff is optional. You don't have to do it. It's not like, I don't know.
Well, no, but what I'm saying is,
the game didn't work.
Even if you paid for the option, garbage, either way, you couldn't play the game.
Right.
For
right,
weeks,
right. No, I mean, yeah, that was awful. That was awful. That was awful.
If you paid for optional content that you can't redeem, it's fucked up. It's I don't know. They should,
I know.
Very consumer unfriendly. I feel like if somebody put a Better Business Bureau complaint, they would actually be like, "Yep, that's bad business." You know, it's not cool. They should have done something about it.
Right. But I'm still, like I said, still looking forward to it. I know it's crazy. No, I'll tell you what I'm happy about. I'm happy that it comes out on the 13th, and that our top 20 is the 15th.
Yeah.
So time,
we can completely remove it from the top 20.
This time, we don't have to say. Well, this new update is coming and it's going to be amazing, and then it breaks. So we'll know beforehand. So I'm excited about that aspect of it. Real quick shout out to Nihilist Ryan, the game feline. It says just a fraction of what I saved on Thumper and Rez, thanks to y'all.
Great games, both.
Yo,
awesome
seriously.
Games. I love Thumper and Rez. I actually, man, if I were to say which one I like more, is actually really hard. Because they're different. But
I think Thumper is going to sell more people at this day and age. Rez is cool if you got that nostalgia, and it's still a really awesome game.
Yeah.
But if you compare it to like Tetris Effect is miles away more visually impressive than Rez. Like the particle effects, all that stuff. And that's what you get with Thumper, like that sort of modern, contemporary, like really high quality, great performance, fucking cool concept too. I've never seen a rhythm game like that. It's like it's the most metal.
Violence. I love
the
that
most metal rhythm game
violence.
I've ever seen in my fucking life, and I love it.
One of my favorite PSVR review discussions with Des was our Thumper show. I don't know what resonated with me about that, but from beginning to end, I loved every minute of filming that. Even when I was editing it, I loved watching it. So if you haven't watched our Thumper review discussion, check it out. If you haven't grabbed Thumper while it's on sale, make sure you do.
It's a great story. It's a great story, and it's definitely an underrated game. I don't know if it's underrated. It's just not. You know, it deserves love. Like deserves a little bit more attention than it.
I actually got to retract a little bit of what I said about Rez too, because Fries and Chip said if there was more of Area X in Rez, it would win hands down, and I agree with that. Area X is a really cool bonus, like 20-25 minute thing.
Lower res
that does
too.
have that
Area X.
It's got the full-on Tetris effect. It's like floating around and shooting stuff inside Tetris effect, pretty much, which is pretty dope.
Yeah, Area X was so cool. I recommend playing the full game of Res Infinite first, and then saving the best for last, which is Area X.
They actually forced you to do that when it first came out. You had to beat the game or play for like 4 hours to unlock it. Now it's just unlocked. I think, yeah, fuck it, let people have it.
Yeah,
it was incredible.
It is incredible. So my only real issue with Res Infinite, I don't know if anyone agrees with me. I'm not sure if we've ever had this conversation before. Is that the move controllers do not respond the way you think they should. Wait,
you use the move controllers?
You can. It's optional.
Yeah.
So
I used head tracking.
The DualShock 4 with head tracking is the way to play it. And if you use two move controllers, the cursors that you're moving around on the screen are not one-to-one. They're very floaty. They're very sort of like non-responsive. And it's just like, I'm playing a shooting game right now. Why aren't these things moving like the head tracking does, like super responsive and precise?
Yeah. Well, head tracking is the most precise way to aim in a first-person shooter. I know everybody loves the moves and the aim, but I guarantee you it's the closest thing to a mouse and a keyboard. Head tracking is so precise compared to other input methods. Mm-hmm. So I love when games allow you to do that from a shooter perspective.
Yeah.
The one thing about the moves that you can do in Res, don't use them as pointers. Use them as vibrators. Yeah. There's this mode where you can have all the other controllers attached, just pulse to the music. So you put one in each pocket or
one
something.
Under your
put one on your
couch.
chest.
Put one in your couch cushions, like the whole couch.
Yeah. Just surround yourself with pulsating controllers. It's an option.
You could get real sexual about this too.
Rez would have. It's the only a game like Rez would have that option, I feel like.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Even when it came out back on the Dreamcast, it was sold with the pulsed vibrator or something, which was like you're supposed to like actually put it in your couch and like make your whole couch vibrate. Very strange.
Oh, and the Luminous remake on Switch, when they put that out, you can have like 8 Joy-Cons all vibrating with the HD rumble, like wherever you want them. If you have them all attached, it's crazy.
what a strange option that like literally 1%
I
will
love
use
that
at
dude.
best.
Mizuguchi, what a crazy bastard. He's great.
He's crazy. Listen, guys, we were talking about Firewall before we got off topic, and
I'd rather talk about this than Firewall.
That's fine.
Did you play any Firewall last night, Brian?
I did. So I was like laying in bed. I took a nap during the day. Even when I got up, I was still like lethargic and just like I don't want to do anything. Like I was working on a review and I had writer's block, staring at a screen. I was on the Discord server talking to some people, being like, I don't know what to say about anything right now. Like just nothing was coming out. I was like, so instead I went and played Firewall, like I do sometimes, quietly, public match with randoms. And man, I fell into a match with an amazing team. And so I want to give a shout out to JWay82. Totally, I told him straight up, I was like, I don't play this very often as much as I'd like to. So I'm going to use you guys as cannon fodder. And he was very cool. We had a good time, and very soon after we started the game, he goes, "Are you Brian Paul?" And I was like, I am, only if you don't tell anybody how bad at this game I am. And he says, and he said, "No problem." And then he meowed at me, and I fell in love.
Oh my god!
Yep. So I was like,
you reached further than you expect.
I gotta give a real quick shout out to MacGyver's cousin Hugh Guyver, and he says.
Now that'll never get old.
Driving the judges to get Red Matter into the top 20. You are damn right. I created my own controversy over the own list that we worked on. I think Red Matter, I don't know how it didn't make it into the last list, the top 20.
I wonder how it won't make it into this list.
I am going to be fighting. I will fight to the death for it.
Well, here's the thing. Not to get into it right now because that's 2 weeks from now. So, but we'll save most of it for there.
I'm ready.
But there's a lot of games. There's a lot of games that you've mentioned that you want to kick off the list, and I think maybe you personally like Red Matter better than those games, but generally speaking, they're not more well liked.
Generally speaking, I just think it's a better.
So I think Red Matter is
game and experience than a lot of those games.
It's really good, but I don't know about top 20. We'll see.
I think it's a top 20 game.
It's tough, man. I think it maybe belonged on the last top 20. I don't know if it's going to make this one. That's going to be a tough conversation to have. Yeah. But so we'll see. We'll see what happens. Vex Ninja says, "What about Iron Man VR?" We have to play it first, man. We have to wait and play it. We can't shove games on the list that don't.
Maybe he's just asking about the info. We are going to touch a little bit.
It is
gameplay that was shown.
It is possible he was just talking about it.
I love these back-to-back comments. Justin says Red Matter is top 20 material. Colt 45 says, "Why do you like Red Matter?"
I like Red Matter because it is almost AAA graphics. It's a sci-fi adventure that's story-driven. It's about 5 hours long. It has brilliant puzzle designs that don't actually feel like puzzles. And I love the twist in the story and everything, and just the setting. It's just a very highly polished game, and it was incredible when I played it. I loved it.
It was one of those games where when you have two move controllers in your hands and you're not using them as guns, what you are using them as makes the game infinitely more tangible. When you're like reaching out with a claw and picking something up like almost magnetic style, you grab it and you pull it out of a fuse box or something, it feels like you actually ripped it out.
So good.
You put those claws on a thing you have to turn, like if you're twisting it and you're like lifting your hands up and grabbing it and doing this, and the whole thing feels.
The way it works in VR is the reason. That's the kind of games that I'm saying that needs to be on these top 20 lists, because it's like you put that game flat and I wouldn't care about it, but the way that it works, the experience that it delivers in VR is what makes it special. And it's something that if you have a PSVR, I strongly believe that it's something you need to experience, unless you just don't like sci-fi.
It's the it's the things, the interstitial parts of Wolfenstein Cyberpilot when they have you putting things together and picking things up and doing that, making like, hey, if you're new to VR, this is a good first thing to do in VR. Like pick things up, throw them, and put them together. That's kind of what Red Matter does successfully for an entire 5-hour game.
Well, and you're not strapped to a chair the whole time.
So true.
In Wolfenstein, you're fucking on. You just they actually mentioned okay, we have strapped you to the chair. There's a good reason for that. And it's like, dude, you don't have to comment on the mechanic that I hate just to fold it into the story. Let's not talk about it.
Yeah. I just think it's amazing, man. I think it's amazing. The only, I wish there's tons of games that I wish were longer. So
here's what I'll say. I'm going to replay it, or maybe not the whole thing, but I'll give it another shot before and I'll see what because for me right now it's not a top 20 game.
I want you to go into the game. I want you to go up to the first window you see Red Matter, and I want you to stare at the glass and just look.
I've done that. No, when I streamed it, I was amazed. I was like, well, the reflections and the lighting are.
What's amazing to me is it actually came out the same week. Did it come out the same week as Firewall and Transpose? It had a very stealthy release, and I was like, oh my god, like why aren't people on PC love it too, but yeah, it's such a high quality game is why I think it deserves to be on the top 5.
I will say some people are talking about Red Matter limited run games physical edition that went for sale.
That just came out.
It came out like we talked about it on the July 4th PSVR this week.
Oh yeah.
And so when it came out, it was only I said I was going to buy it if it was like an actual limited run. You know, some of these games have like 4,000 copies that they sell. But I said if it was around like to the top where that only had 1,800, I would buy it. And it had 2,000, which I figured was close enough. I bought it, and then it just never sold out. Like 2 weeks went by, and I was like, this thing, like no one wants it. It's crazy. And then literally just 4 days ago, I think they finally sold the last few copies. But it was on their site all month long. And then I saw some comments going, "Hey, I'm trying to find the physical version of Red Matter. Can anybody tell me where it is?" And I was like, "Dude, you just missed it. You had all month. What happened?
Got to check eBay.
Got to check PSVR this week and keep up to date with this shit."
Oh, and if you don't check PSVR this week, you're gonna have to pay for it later on eBay. So
yeah,
Kevrat's onto us. He's saying top 20 list starting early.
No, we're done with the discussion. We're not talking about Red Matter anymore.
We kind of are getting, we're building up to it slightly. We're not going to go completely into the top 20, but I think it's good we start talking about it now because that way nothing gets left behind. That needs to be, so.
Oh, God.
Top 20 go.
Chris Britston says, gotta go. Cyberpilot's ready to play. Then he's got some devil horns, and he's got the devil face.
So
Don't be that excited, Chris.
I had brought up the Cyberpilot trailer when we were when I mentioned it, and I do want to say that if anybody watched my initial live stream, I was super crazy frustrated and and not paying attention to the story during a live stream when the whole game is just like this girl talking to you over radio. It was maybe not the best.
Well, so as a counterpoint.
Well, I haven't made a point yet.
Well, you did. You said you missed a lot of the story because you were streaming it, and I'm going to tell you that experiencing it off stream is just as unfulfilling.
Yeah.
Because you're stuck in a chair listening to text. You see text on the bottom of the screen, and then you hear a voice. There's no person in front of you talking to you. It's very boring and static. You just sit there and stare at a wall until she stops talking.
Yeah.
So it's just not engaging, I would say.
But I hated that game during the live stream. And when I played it again, for review, I didn't hate it, and I was like, man, these graphics are really nice. And I was able to appreciate it. And since I'd already played it once, a lot of the frustration was gone. I didn't even die once, I don't think. And I was able to just kind of go through and just do what I was supposed to do. Zero frustration, when I was like yelling at the game, being like, I fucking hate this game the first time. I came around and I was like, okay, for what this is, it's okay, and that's what I tried to represent in my review. But it's still $20. It's still only 90 minutes long, and it's still missing a lot of what it needed to be successful.
I still think it's going to be. I still think some people are going to like it as an entry level game. I think that was an important thing you said in your review, that like as an entry level, you could be pretty surprised by it because of the graphical fidelity and stuff. But yeah, I mean, it's at the end of the day, we just wanted a Wolfenstein game. Right?
Yeah, no, it doesn't feel like Wolfenstein, and that's the problem. Like, you don't get that cool feeling of like, oh man, I just blew up some Nazis and I'm the biggest badass in the world. And lately, Wolfenstein games have had really engaging plots and characterization, and they're just really well done from a story standpoint.
Except for Youngblood. Oof.
No, I heard Youngblood was poorly done, but
Very
I'm saying
done.
The recent, like this current gen Wolfenstein has been pretty solid outside of these two games that they just dropped, which are both kind of spin-offs. So it's kind of, I don't know, it's disappointing to me because I love Wolfenstein. I've always loved it. And Doom VFR for me was a solid game. I like Doom VFR.
Yeah.
So I thought Bethesda, maybe they'll pull it off. And they really don't seem to have. I still need to stream it at some point. I'm dreading it, kind of. I don't really want to, but
Nicholas in the chat, of course, the 3D, our 3D rudder representative, says Cyberpilot works with the 3D rudder, by the way, and it does. So after I had published my review, I went back and because I'd heard some people say that it was supported. I went back, I tried it. It totally works. That's the end of that story.
And it doesn't make it any more fun.
No, but I will say that it actually, like this and Scraper, I would say, like if you have a 3D rudder, pull it out for this and Scraper, because again, you're sitting in a mech and you're just and if you want to use the dual moves instead of rather worrying about how to move around, you just use it to fire and you can use your feet. You guys know I'm not a fan of the 3D rudder. I despise the fucking thing. But if you have it, I kind of want to make a review just so I don't have to keep answering the question when people ask me.
Nicholas is having a field day out there.
Yeah, Nicholas knows what's up. We went back and forth and we tried to figure out what was wrong with the 3D rudder, and apparently nothing's wrong with it. I just don't like it. So
yeah, same here. But I will agree on a game like Cyberpilot. The movement is so slow at maximum speeds that you won't get that feeling of like when I played Space Junkies the first time, I felt like I was spinning like a top uncontrollably, and I got sick, and I don't get sick. But with this game, I don't see how you could possibly get sick with the 3D rudder because you move so fucking slow in this game. You're just like
you can't.
And that's what kind of makes it not feel like a Wolfenstein game. You're just this slow moving like.
Right. I'm so used to Doom and Wolfenstein and stuff. I'm so used to the blistering fast movement. So.
Yeah.
But.
I will say I'm glad they did something, just like I said in my review. I'm glad they did something original, and but the fact is we would have been happier. Everybody would have been happier if they had just taken an old Wolfenstein game and shoved it into VR.
And it's kind of a no-brainer. Just learn from Doom VFR. Learn from VFR.
Right.
So well, we both started talking at the same time, but whatever, you can go. That's fine.
I think you were getting cut off, but sorry about that. But yeah, I think everybody's kind of afraid to bash on it too hard because they want Bethesda to keep making games. Like, if they get it wrong, they're like, please, it's okay. It's not that great, but just please keep making VR games. But it's also a different team than Doom VFR.
Yeah, it's Arcane. It's Arcane Lion who made Dishonored, right? That was them.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know. But it's a Machine Games production made by Arcane and it's published by Bethesda. So it's not Bethesda proper. I'm sure that everyone involved in the project knew exactly what they were putting out.
Doom isn't either.
Right. That was it id?
Yeah.
Right.
id Software. Yeah.
So but it's not like these companies don't know what they're putting out there. It's like when they get negative feedback, I'm sure there were people working on the game that goes, yeah, no, we were expecting that. So
well, I think part of it though is like some companies still have a naive market.
Some companies have a what, Dave?
Companies still are kind of naive about the VR market. Some big companies, because they have ideas that they either will work or won't work, but they don't really reflect what consumers who are actually playing these games really want. So like, I think they thought, as you said, as a first-time experience for somebody who hasn't gotten into VR before and who loves Wolfenstein, Cyberpilot might be cool. But as somebody who's been playing the games for years and years, it's like, this is so disappointing. So I feel like they could have learned some lessons from Doom VFR and been like, okay, kill the weird move control scheme or put turning on it and just make it a Wolfenstein game in VR, and that's enough.
With an aim controller. Let us use the aim controller.
Yeah, it would be awesome.
To kill some Nazi zombies. But they're the same thing in my book.
Kevgrid, it's not my mic. It's
you said zombies again.
No, I said Nazi
Kev,
zombies
this
time.
It's
on purpose.
Oh, okay. Okay, gotcha. It was on purpose.
I was making fun of myself.
Gotcha.
We do need to figure out these audio issues that we're having. You guys do cut out on occasion. I don't know if I cut out for you guys on occasion, but since I'm like hosting the stream, I'm guessing I don't.
My thing says video. I've got full signal.
Yeah, you just cut out while you were talking about it.
Oh yeah, I've got like full signal and stuff, so I don't know. I don't know.
We'll figure that out eventually.
Probably just Discord. Sorry about that, guys.
I'm still surprised that this thing even works at all. It's without Parole production. The shit's like held together with duct tape and string.
So, we do have more stuff to talk about if you guys are ready to move on.
No.
All right.
Just want to sit here and drink coffee.
See you, everybody.
What do you got for us, bud?
All right. So, Recluse Industries, which was basically, I found out about this game by just a simple little tweet that he did a long time ago. And it's like one guy, and he tweeted about his little VR project that he was working on, and it's called Separation. And basically showed off some screenshots, and it honestly looks like really beautiful. I think you have some like footage of it, right?
Yeah, I mean, I had to actually make my own trailer from all the stuff that he showed before, and so I stitched it all together into this lovely trailer that we're watching now.
Well, he says, taken a long and winding path getting to this point, but finally, separation is complete, and that he just needs to pass the FQA now, aiming to release in October. And, you know, at the time, from everything I've seen, I love exploration and stuff. I don't really, obviously, we don't know much about this game. I like how he kind of goes on, though, and he says, like, end of the road, having a beer, the game's done. I hope it will resonate with someone out there. Oh, wait, shit. I still need to add the localized text.
I kind of love this guy.
Yeah, I know. He's got it seems like he's got a cool sense. But I'm definitely excited to play this. I love exploration, like I said. It looks really pretty. So I'm hoping that we just get to wander around and there's like some story to uncover. He also said something else. What did he say here? He says, for a game that is mostly landscape wandering, I am slightly concerned about its apparent sexual symbolism. I'm sure psychologists will have a field day with this one. Whatever.
Yeah, I'm actually curious, like, because I think the environments look amazing, and from what we understand about Recluse Industries, it's basically one guy. Is that right?
Yeah.
So guy. I'm curious to know, like, you know, just
looks pretty big for one guy.
Like what are we doing? It's mostly exploration, but like, are you actually picking up and interacting with objects? Are you, are you trying to solve puzzles? Like, what exactly are we doing? Is this, DualShock 4? Is it move controls? There's a lot of questions, and I hope that, for a one guy development team, that it's, it releases fairly cheap, and because what do you say? 2 hours? I think it lasts. I think we got a time frame on that at some point. So
I don't know. He said something about wandering. Let's see, like 40. It says there's less than 500 words. There's not a lot in it. It says the game itself is a long, winding path. Was surprised to find I journeyed almost 20 kilometers in game by the time I reached the end.
Huh. So how long does it take everyone to walk 20K?
I have no idea.
So I guess we'll find out.
Averaged. What?
Yeah.
Averaged. But yeah, are you excited for this one?
I'm excited because I've always been a big fan of like art house projects, and this seems like right up my alley in terms of that kind of stuff. And in VR, this isn't something I'd want to play on a flat screen anymore, just because we've had enough of it. But I feel like we haven't hit critical mass when it comes to these types of PSVR experiences, and I'm interested in it. I think it looks beautiful. I think for the resources he had, he knocked it out of the park visually.
According to Google, it takes about a half marathon.
Sorry, I thought I was on mute.
13.1 miles or 21 kilometers. It takes about 4 to 4.5 hours to walk that long.
Yeah, I feel like we heard maybe a time that was a lot shorter than that. So I'm going to.
It depends on if there's a run button or not.
Right.
I can run a 5K in like.
You can beat it in half the time.
I can run a 5K in like 25 minutes, I think. So that's not. I can probably run through the game pretty quickly, apparently.
Colt 45, Rayman 88, my dude, Supertramp Yuki, who actually joined us in Starblood. And he's also like a master Quirks player. He's always in multiplayer meetups asking if somebody wants to play Quirks. And I think he actually challenged the devs. Yuki, confirm this for me. That did you beat the devs in Quirks when you played them? But
he
says Solus Project will be better with the rudder. Have you tried to replay the game? The controls take a lot. I actually like the controls in Solus Project. Also one of my favorite games ever. The thing about the Solus Project is if they sold enough, they would have actually worked on a sequel. And I think it was one of the most criminally overlooked games. And I don't think there's any sequel. I don't even think they could add any more support for anything.
Top 20?
Top 20? I mean, top 10 for me personally. Like,
really, you think so?
but again, when it comes to the top 20 and my top 20, completely different. My top 20, absolutely amazing, but it does have like some potential game-breaking bugs and stuff.
And the other thing is, it's not inviting. It isn't straightforward or friendly.
Right.
It doesn't help you. It doesn't help you play it. You need to fight the game to learn how to play it.
Right.
Which
but
for a lot of people is the initial turnoff. Yeah, but I'm saying for top 20 games, like if it's something you've got to fight to get into, and then you're like, oh, I love this now. A lot of people won't make it that far, and it's kind of hard to recommend as something everybody would like. You know what I mean? Some people will play Solus and Tune Out. Wasn't it free for a while? Was that a PS Plus game?
No,
but it's been discounted. It's been discounted on so many sales for literally $5.99.
That's probably
And it's I mean, it's almost free at that point where you just got to be like, if you don't have this, why the fuck don't you have this game yet?
I paid. I think I got it on sale. I was like, if I knew what this game was, I would have paid the $20 for it. And it's hard to see it's hard to really know what the game is. But really one of the best sci-fi exploration survival. I'm not even like a survival kind of guy. Like I'm not like crazy about, if you get cold and wet that you have to build a fire and stuff. But this game changed my outlook. I absolutely adore this game. And it just, it's amazing.
When they dropped that pro patch and they, added like smooth rotation and stuff, like, man, they really gave this game the love it deserved. And
they didn't fix the stuff I'm talking about. People are saying it.
What was the stuff that? Talk to me. What's still broken about this game?
It's not that it's like a bug or something to patch. It's just that the game is designed in a way that doesn't really explain anything to you, and you have a variety of options. And I can see why you'd feel bored because there isn't enough really direction to allow you to figure out all that stuff in the game itself. So as far as like people saying it needs a tutorial, it would definitely help. It's a prickly game. It's one of those games where once you crack it, you love it. But if you don't crack it, you might just bounce off it permanently, like some people in the chat are saying. That's my issue, and it's not something you can fix with a patch unless you redesign the beginning of the game.
The problem, the biggest flaw with the game is that certain items across the map, then you have to go all the way back to get them, and it doesn't really make it clear, like Dave said.
Well, I'm saying it's not the most.
It's not a user-friendly game, no. But if you follow the story, it's absolutely amazing.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
And like people are talking about the tornadoes, like the weather, a lot of them.
You kind of
there's a barrier to some people out, but it is a really cool.
Dave, you having storms in your area or anything?
Am I just cutting out constantly or something?
Yeah, I got like 3 words.
God damn it. My internet is perfectly fine. I don't know what the fuck the problem is.
We'll try. My internet's fine over
here,
AJ,
too, you've been cutting out too, honestly. You've been cutting out fairly often as well.
We'll try to figure this out on our downtime. I don't think it's like show crippling or anything. So let's try to move on here. So speaking of moving on, AJ.
Yeah. So we got some new footage. Of course, we did. We were talking about pretty recently.
Yeah.
And obviously, No Man's Sky is, in my opinion, right now the biggest thing happening with PSVR, and we are waiting for that within the next 2 weeks. And then we watched, what was it? Not E3? What was the showcase we were just watching recently? They showed some more stuff. Oh, it was Comic-Con or something.
Oh, that's right.
And Marvel was at San Diego Comic-Con, and they we showed like the new. It's like it was new footage, but it didn't really show us anything new.
Right.
In terms of gameplay and stuff, we kind of already seen it from the trailer, basically. And they're still not showing anything past the trailer, past the airplane scene, the tutorial, which had this gorgeous like Malibu Beach, like Tony Stark's place and stuff. But they did, of course, afterward show some more gameplay. They showed there's a 30-minute gameplay demo that you can see, and it had some interesting things. Some of it we already know, some of it not really. But the developers were there with people. They were showing it off. They were going through the tutorial, and they were kind of like, it was really cool because they're at Tony Stark's place, and there's like the pool, the tennis courts, and this whole area, which the developers said, I think they spent like 2 years designing this area just alone, like just the tutorial and the gameplay itself. But they basically showed off, like, you know, how you start off. They said everything is kind of, they're trying to make it like physics based, where you point up and you fire your thrusters and you shoot down. You point down, you fire the thrusters, you shoot up. They mentioned, you know, this whole area has a lot of exploration to it. Even though it's just the tutorial, it's not like this on rails, well, do this. It's like, well, before you want to engage in the combat for the tutorial, you can actually just fly around. And I think that's one of the things I'm mostly excited about, is the freedom. They've mentioned before that it's a sandbox, that there's going to be plenty of room to explore. And, you know, even though they said some things like the background, some of the backgrounds are actually just like a 360 kind of deal, that it's blended so well. They were receiving a lot of compliments on it. They mentioned, as for progression in the game, there's lots of customization to the suit. And I think that's going to be pretty cool. I'm wondering how deep that customization goes. Like, is it just colors, or is it like weapons? It sounds to me like your armor, what they said was like the armor upgrades are going to be customizable. So I'm interested to see what kind of other attacks. And as of right now, they've mentioned for the attacks, of course, there's the flying around, there's the shooting. They've got this thing called the rocket punch, which they had them doing in the tutorial, which looks awesome. I love the fact that you're in a flying game, but there's also going to be a melee element to it. Like, essentially, you lock onto your target, press the button, and it flies up and it punches them. And I think something like that just sounds awesome. They also mentioned that there's going to be like a ground slam. So you can fly up, there's going to be enemies on the ground, and you can slam into the ground, explodes around them. You know, we kind of had that in Sirento, but I think this is going to be like bigger. And I'm guessing with each of these, there's going to be additions to them to where, you know, you can upgrade them, make them stronger. And like I said, I just love the idea that it's fully open to where you can fly around, explore. And they really tried hard to make this flying seamless and easy for people to pick up, because they just kept mentioning this kind of gameplay, although they don't know about Two Top's fly level, which I would love to demonstrate at some point.
Right.
But To the Top actually has done this already, but they mentioned that nobody's ever done this before, so they really want to try and explain it the best they can, because it's a completely new locomotion system that nobody's used to. So the only other thing we really know about this is, you know, it's going to feature the story, and it's also planned for this year. So really, personally, I think besides No Man's Sky, I think this is going to be the next big game to look forward to in terms of like that kind of mainstream appeal to it.
Are you raising your hand, Dave?
Yeah, I was. I didn't want to interrupt. I'm raising my hand now. I'm going to be respectful. So, have I talked about my multiplayer theory on the GameCast yet?
No, and
I'm going to throw it out there really quick. Yeah. We won't spend too much time on it.
No,
but
this sounds great, man. I was actually going to point to your video on a episode of This Week recently.
Okay, very cool. So I was looking through, and I have more in depth on my channel, but it's pretty much just a hunch. Basically, I was looking at Camouflage's website. They're the developers of Iron Man VR, and they have 2 job listings that specifically say, join us to work on the development of Marvel's Iron Man VR. And they talk about how ambitious the project is and how they need you to come help. And in the requirements, like under the bonus stuff, they say experience working on multiplayer games in 2 of these, where it's like, I mean, if they did announce that, it would be insane. People would buy PSVRs for this thing.
They already are.
They already are. And so imagine that, like, we have a multiplayer online Iron Man game, even if it's just PvE, where you're together with a friend, you know, co-op or something. That would be awesome. But just, it's interesting to me that the job description would mention Iron Man so heavily, and then also include that tidbit about multiplayer. Yeah. Somebody said maybe it's leaderboards. That could be true. It might be leaderboards, but I don't think they'd ask for experience in designing multiplayer games if it's just leaderboard.
Right.
So, yeah, you never know. Might happen. We'll see.
I'm also curious because when they've got a job listing out now for a game that's coming out in, I mean, they're saying 2019.
Yeah.
So that's less than 4 months away. I mean,
well, so that's to me would actually, because stuff in basic requirements, it's listed under bonus.
Say it again.
Oh, sorry. That's what makes it actually a little more believable to me, because if it was earlier in the cycle, then the multiplayer stuff would be a requirement for you to apply. At this point, it's a bonus. So if they've already been working on it for 2 years and you can come in now and help them finish up part of it,
gotcha.
Then it'd be nice if you know multiplayer stuff, but it's mostly already done. This is the way I'm thinking about it. Like I said, conspiracy theory, but who knows?
That
could happen. Be real cool.
That totally works. But yeah, we'll
obviously, the single player is my focus. I'm more of a single player gamer.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's going to be awesome single player.
If it did have some kind of multiplayer thing, it would be really. I mean, I would definitely want co-op first. Like even just like a wave shooter. Like hell, give us a wave shooter flying around in the different, really cool looking areas, and that would be pretty sweet. The other thing about this game too, Brian, what were you going to say actually?
I don't know. I wasn't listening to myself.
Okay. The last thing I want to add is I think it's really cool how they have everybody, a lot of people dream about, becoming Iron Man, having the suit and everything. And I just thought about something that kind of made me chuckle inside. It's like when you wear the mask, having all like the notifications, the information displayed in the mask, and how it's kind of, you're in VR and it's like an augmented reality thing in VR. Something about that I just thought about was kind of cool.
Well, same thing with like Rush VR, right? So it's like you put the skydiving mask on your face, and it's like having the VR headset there. When those things translate so well, it just like adds to the immersion. So
yeah, and Rush is a pretty simple, not the most ambitious game, but the way water flows off the sides of the front of your mask is incredible. It looks really, really good for what it is.
Do people still play that? I know that there's I know that some of the catnip
we did
games
for a few weeks there. I mean, it's still fun, but I think it'd be hard getting a multiplayer game going at this point.
Yeah, and that's really where that game
organized ahead of time.
That's where that game excels the most, I think, is multiplayer, when you know that the other people that are flying through the air with you are actual real people.
Oh yeah, for sure. Although I had a great time with it solo too. If it's on sale, still a good single player experience.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Unfortunately, that's kind of all we have for Iron Man VR right now. The sad thing is like, and it seems like they're talking about the game a lot, but not saying very much. And I'm like always desperate for more information. So every time like something new comes up, you just kind of like scour the information and go, there's nothing new to talk about. I'm looking forward to seeing what it's all about.
The thing is, they do keep sharing more information on it, but they don't move past this first like 2 scenes. It's supposed to be a full length game and everything. Yeah. So I imagine you'll be tearing it up through cities and different environments and stuff.
You think this is the Megaton rainfall that we really, really want? Like Megaton was great.
Absolutely.
Megaton for $16 game. Megaton was great. But is this going to be a $60 game or a $40 game? Or
it's going to be a $60 game. I guarantee this is a $60 game.
You think it's going to be 60?
Yes. I'm telling you.
If it's
8 hours, and there is some unlockable stuff, some replayable challenge type stuff,
multiplayer,
and even potentially multiplayer, for Marvel's Iron Man, they're not going to go cheap on that. I don't think it's going to be...
I can see maybe 50.
Maybe 50. Maybe
I think
50, maybe
50 max is what I see. I think
if it is 40, that would be awesome.
I think 40, but I could see 50.
As long
how
as
much was Batman when it came out?
20.
20, and it's an hour.
Yeah, but I mean that's kind
of... If this is 8 hours, I don't know.
That's a different situation. I think I want it to be a $60 game only because I want the price to reflect the content and the amount of stuff you get from the game. I don't want it to be 60 just because I want it to be expensive. I want it to be 60 because I want it to be a full-fledged fucking game.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what they're selling it as.
If it's a 15-hour game, AAA has multiplayer, full-length campaign,
$90
gameplay. Yeah, fuck it, $200. I'll pay it right now. No, but I mean, 60, I'd be fine with. You know, a lot of times these games are cheaper because they're not, you know, a 20-hour game, AAA graphics.
For 200, I want it to come with Iron Man gauntlets, man. It's like fucking installed move controllers.
Iron Man move controllers.
Yes,
that you can put on.
Yes, now we're talking $300.
But no, I know the speculation, the multiplayer is just speculation.
Absolutely, 100%. Don't take that as truth.
Right, because that's just. But it is a good observation from Dave, and it is interesting to see that
Detective Davestation.
We know at the very least we know at the least that if they're not adding multiplayer to Iron Man, that they probably are working on something next, which could be. But it did say Iron Man, so specifically, which is cool.
Next up,
we have.
We
got some new,
AJ, actually, you asked if it was raining.
Yeah.
In my place, it just started pouring rain, and my cat's outside, so I'm gonna let him in real quick.
Okay. We got some new Doctor Who game. We finally got some Doctor Who gameplay trailer footage stuff.
Yeah.
You know the drill.
I know the drill. Oh crap! I have 3. This must be it right here. I don't know how I have 3 trailers that are all different for a game that's not even out yet. Maybe it's this one. Let's try this one.
Yeah, the from the gameplay they showed, it does have it's from a demo that they had at, I guess, like San Diego Con
2019. And you're reading it right off the screen.
Damn it! You're supposed to fast forward. No, but I noticed, like, I don't know what you thought about this, but for the most part, it looked kind of dark and brown, and I think what has me.
Yeah, you think it looks a little brown? It's like there's only one color on the screen, and it's brown.
I'll tell you what. No, I mean, like, the entire demo looks brown.
That's what I'm saying. It's very brown.
It wasn't just like the one thing. But I'll tell you what does have my interest is when they talked about this, they did make it sound like it's going to be like kind of like almost like a aspect to it.
Is it a horror aspect? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Like, so that actually has my attention, that it's like dark and
brown. It's spooky. It's spooky. I love that girl. I love that girl so much.
I know. I can't. You really fucked up. I can't even say like spooky anymore.
It's always spooky. It's spooky. Well, that was that was from. Crap! The Evil Within team, whatever their new game is.
Right. That was portion of Bethesda.
It was an amazing reveal, and that girl was awesome. Yeah, but yeah, no. So this is mind-boggling. You don't know anything about Doctor Who, right?
I don't know shit about Doctor Who.
No, I know more about Inspector Spacetime than I do Doctor Who.
I know more about Inspector Gadget.
Yeah, I know more about Inspector Gadget as well, Penny.
But I have this feeling that Nerfenstein knows. Oh, she already said that.
What'd she say?
Okay, so I was right.
She
said, "Oh, I am so excited for Doctor Who."
That's the downside here, is that the 3 of us know nothing about Doctor Who, so it's kind of hard to get excited about this outside of the fact that, hey, this trailer looks kind of cool, but also there's probably stuff in this trailer that Doctor Who fans relate to and go, oh, cool, it's got this, and that gadget right there is from the series, and we're like...
100%.
And all I'm getting from this is, it's a brown escape room sort of thing looking.
Right.
That's all I got going on.
Well, I mean, there's been a few other cases of that where it's like, oh, you like this thing? We made a VR thing that's an escape room of that. Like, Prey, when Prey added that VR mode, you're like, oh, Prey seems like a cool thing for VR, but it's just an escape room. I was like,
Right. We never got that multiplayer thing either. That was crazy.
Yeah, and they haven't talked about it. I feel like they silently scrapped it.
You think so? You think maybe
I don't know. It was supposed to have come out by now.
Yeah.
Definitely when they announced it, it would have been out.
They're oddly silent about it.
Yeah.
Did they have a release date for this Doctor Who thing? Didn't they have a release date or like release window for this? Was it October? Seems like we're getting a lot of stuff in October, so I just want to say everything is October.
I don't know. I'm looking it up right now.
But yeah, I think obviously fans of Doctor Who are probably going to really enjoy it.
Yeah, for sure. And there's a lot of people out there.
Yeah, there
I
are.
feel like the overlap between people who like is that right?
Who like what?
Like,
Sorry, what?
oh, sorry. I feel like the overlap, like the Venn diagram between people who really like Gizmo's gadgets, VR headsets, and people who like Doctor Who. There's like a pretty big overlap there, I assume.
So it's coming.
We're all nerds about something.
It's coming in September.
September.
Yeah.
Lots of stuff coming out in September. Nothing. I haven't heard much about like November, December. But I'm hoping that is the Iron Man window.
Yeah. No, for sure. Yeah, I don't know. I wish I knew more about Doctor Who. It sounds like a series that would be right up my alley. For everyone who loves this series or multiple series they like all the stuff that I like. So I should probably check it out at some point, and maybe before the VR game launches, so I have some kind of context as to what's going on.
Yeah.
All right. So exciting news for all Doctor Who fans, but for the rest of us, it's probably time to move on to another topic.
Yeah.
What do we got, AJ?
I mean, I think that's actually all I got for now. There are like a couple other things, but
I think we need to talk about a nice zombie game that's coming out soon.
Oh yeah. So we did actually. Why don't you just take this one? I just totally screwed that up. Yeah, the biggest news, like possibly the biggest news that we were actually here, like meant to talk about. But yeah, Contagion VR is. They have released on Twitter that they are basically at the final steps, that they just have a couple more things to do, and that we can be expecting. They're aiming for Contagion, which is a zombie survival game that everyone's been excited about. They are hoping to have the release by the end of summer, and it's going to be released with 3 missions. And it's going to approximately be between $20 and $30. And then also they said that after they get these first 3 missions, that they are going to aim to add the next 4th mission.
Yeah,
which you guys excited about this?
It's a little bit of a double-edged sword here, because I'm excited that it's coming soon, but also the biggest complaint most people seem to have about it on Steam is that it's just too damn short. And so I think that their mission initially was, hey, we're going to get this thing ported over to PSVR, and we're going to add more content, and we're going to make sure it's big and robust and ready to go at launch. And then they were like, holy crap, apparently porting stuff to VR or PSVR is harder than we thought. Because they were making all sorts of claims. They were saying, oh, you guys want aim support? Sure, we'll do that. We've never done that before, but yeah, we can make that happen. And people said, how? And they said, we have no fucking idea. And so that's sort of what we're looking at here is like, you know, they kind of maybe bit off more than they could chew, and now that, you know, the time's coming up, they didn't have the time to get that extra mission out ahead of time and get it and make it part of the launch. So I'm excited because I definitely want more reasons to use my aim to kill zombies because I love zombie games and I love my aim controller and I love my PSVR. But it's just like, I know I'm going to temper my expectations that this game might not feel terribly complete at launch.
Yeah, I mean, my expectations are basically, like, when I saw this trailer, what it seems to me like is it could launch the same exact way Arizona Sunshine did, which is everybody on PC had a great feeling about it. And then in the port, somehow, especially on the original PS4 and at launch, it just wasn't good.
It was bad.
It wasn't a good game. It was bad. I didn't like it, and I thought I would.
And then I got death threats for being honest in my review.
Yeah, exactly. And so what I see in this trailer makes me worry a little bit that what we're going to get is going to end up kind of like in Arizona Sunshine. There are not many dissimilarities except for the environments look a little more interesting maybe in this one. Yeah. But I think we'll have to wait and see how well it ports over.
Decepticon is asking if there's co-op in this game. There's not co-op, but they have kind of entertained the idea of adding co-op with it. And they basically had said that it was... If they said that they have a lot of work to do this was a while ago, that they had a lot of work to do to get just the game running smooth enough, and they do believe that I think
that's what worries me, dude. That's what worries me.
They did say that the PSVR version is gonna have to run really smooth, so it's probably going to be the smoothest version. They don't have anything, I don't think, any ideas for like PvP, obviously, but for PvE. They would like to add some stuff. So not going to be at launch, but maybe something we get later. I kind of like the idea of being isolated and alone, fighting off zombies.
Yeah.
It just seems like, to me, it feels like it would make the tension higher.
Oh, I mean, that's already an option in
I got nothing, dude.
Except for the...
You got to start over. That's an option in what? I'm sorry.
Fuck me, man. This sucks.
It kind of
Anyways, what I was saying is that's already an option in a lot of games for you. Like, there are plenty of games where you kill zombies where you can play solo. So I feel like, you could play Killing Floor Incursion solo, and it's still a solid zombie game that looks like it'll be better than this one. But we'll see.
Yeah, it's just a Monochrome, from everything I can tell, is sort of an inexperienced team, especially, they have no PlayStation VR experience. So hopefully, the thing is that they've had a lot of plans for this thing, especially when it comes to PSVR. Initially, it was supposed to come out in November of last year as sort of a... Well, it's sort of like they wanted to do this early access thing on PSVR, where they were like, okay, here's what we have, and we're going to, add to it and add to it and add to it, kind of like Crisis Brigade in a sense, where...
but Sony's not really down for that shit.
No.
Sony doesn't allow that.
And I'm guessing that's probably what happened. And it's still in early access on Steam, and so that's sort of what their model is there. And so I think they were trying to make that model happen on PlayStation 4, and it's not happening.
Well, I think the only way you can really get away with it or do it that way is like a Beat Saber thing, where you release it on PSVR as a finished product, even though it's still in early access on PC. You don't call it early access on PlayStation. You just add to it afterwards, but it's a full product.
Exactly, which makes it tough. You got to make sure it's priced accordingly, like from the get-go. You have to
absolutely.
It's a $10 game, but once we patch it a couple times, we're going to up the price to $20. And I don't think
can they do that?
That Crisis Brigade did exactly that.
Oh, you're right. No, you're right. Actually,
yeah. I do like the fact that there's competition. I mean, we've got Walking Dead versus Contagion VR.
Yeah, Walking Dead's going to be way better.
You think Walking Dead's going to be way better?
Yeah, you can't fuck with Servios,
right?
You can't fuck with Servios. You said these people have barely... Servios has some of the most experience with PSVR out of any developer out there, so I think they'll be fine.
Yeah, Servios is looking pretty good, man. All those different melee attacks are, going to put my move controllers to good use.
You know what I'm excited about, actually? Today, Battle
Battlewake what? Battlewake what?
Yeah! I know. I want to kill it. So,
I'm just going to type what I want to say in the chat, and then just read it from the chat.
That totally works. Yeah, so apologies to anyone's watching. This we do get cut off occasionally, but this is...
It's not internet related.
No, it is internet. It's definitely internet related. I guarantee you it's internet related.
Not my internet.
But
it is, because I hear you cutting out on my end. And Bryan hears you cutting out on your
you're both cutting out occasionally, but it's usually not this intrusive. Usually it's occasionally, and now it's kind of being a total pain in the ass.
All right.
Yeah, you're cutting out too, AJ. It's not just me. So what I was saying, hopefully this goes through, is that I saw today that Battlewake is actually already out in VR arcades.
Nice.
So I'm sure it's a little bit of a different version, but there's a few near my house that have it on their lineup. And I'm kind of curious. Maybe I'll go over for half an hour and just check it out, because I'm really curious about that one. PC players got the beta, but we did not get the beta, obviously. So
we got to sign up for the beta,
but we're not gonna get one.
Never access to the beta. I don't know why.
If you go to that arcade, man, you got to film it. You got to send some footage.
I was gonna make a video about it if I do.
Nice.
Yeah.
There's a Battlewake arcade game.
Yeah. So Servios, I don't think it's the first time they've stuff. Can you guys fucking not hear me?
So we can hear most of what you're saying.
Oh my god. Anyways, it's not the first time Servios has done an arcade version of a game. Yada yada yada. Let's go. That's fine.
All right. Yep. Final thoughts on Contagion?
I like zombies.
Might be good.
Might be good.
Here's the thing. I think it's. I think I've got my expectations set so low that I think it's going to be fine. I think it's going to probably be a fun little romp. The reviews on Steam have already tempered my expectations. I'm good to go. I don't think it's going to be a 10 out of 10. I think it's going to be a nice 6 out of 10. And I'm going to be happy just to have a new experience where I run around and kill zombies. That's my take on it. Maybe it'll be better than that. Maybe it'll exceed expectations and I'll be thrilled. But got to keep my expectations in check.
Everything's better in VR.
VR makes everything better. It's already on my tombstone. They've already inscribed it. They're like, Bryan, we're just waiting for you to pay the bill. Yeah, all right, whatever. Just take it out of my pocket. What's next? And there is something next. I just don't know what it is. It's man, this is I don't know what the hype around this is, but people are talking a lot about this thing called HoloHead's VR Time Machine.
What the fuck?
Exactly. And what? What?
What's in the box?
Yeah, so here it's an educational VR experience. They're not even calling it a game, but you do time travel. You'd see dinosaurs, and I'm like, just go play Robinson. I don't know what the excitement is over this.
It could definitely be better than.
Well, we do have a time travel game already, where you go.
It's not good.
You're talking about Time Carnage?
No. Like time travel or VR, right?
Yeah, no, it's
where you go underwater.
It's called Time Machine VR.
Time Machine VR. Thank you.
I liked that one more than most people actually, because I like dinosaurs.
It was $30 at launch. It was way too expensive.
No, it's too expensive. It's too expensive. But it's all right.
Hate dinosaurs is what it did.
Not as much as Artbark.
I don't
Seriously,
really
not as much as Artbark.
That's true.
These are things that really should be easy to. Surprising that they turn out well. My only concern about this, I love the concept of this being an educational thing, but my concern is that these educational VR game things are never very good. I know you played the Titanic and you had a decent experience with it. Yeah. My experience with Titanic was awful.
What?
It was was terrible.
Wait. We got to get off of this time traveler thing. I want to talk about Titanic.
Do you not like learning? I think you just don't like learning.
I love learning. But I don't like.
I don't know. It doesn't sound like it.
I don't like broken ass games. Broken ass experiences.
Dude, Time Machine's not broken in any way. You just don't like it. It's not broken.
I said Titanic.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I haven't played Titanic.
Yeah. No, Titanic.
So you guys are split on it. Bryan liked it. You didn't.
I love the idea, the history behind it, the learning aspect of it. I hated actually having to do anything with it. Like it telling me to do something and it not working. That's it. I don't usually run into bugs. Even if I do, I usually find a way. And this made it so damn hard. Like Bryan, you remember when you take the microscope thing, or you have your ship that you're traveling, little one that you're floating around, and then you deploy that little robot thing to like grab something. Well, when it deployed that, the hands were invisible. So it kept telling me, grab this thing, or this here, place this here, and I had no hands to do it. And I was just like,
you were in a camera mode, and the game is very bad at telling you about the difference between that little pod and the camera mode. Trust me, I struggled with that too at first, and then once I realized I was doing it wrong.
No, the problem was that I was switching between the moves and the DualShock, and with the moves they weren't showing up, so I had to restart the entire game, and then do it with the DualShock to get through it. And then I basically I had to restart from the beginning, and I couldn't skip anything. I had to watch everything all over again, and I was just like, oh, just kill me.
Yeah, no, the game has some serious issues, and but most of the issues I found weren't in. So you can see in this part of my review right here where you get the hands, and it's I still think that the issue you had was that you were switching between the wrong thing, because I went back and forth too, and I switched between DualShock 4 and Move controls, and I was like, what the hell is going on? This is so stupid. And then I realized that I was just there was like an option that they weren't telling you about that should have been explained. I mean, they talk to you a lot over the radio, but they don't tell you what you need to know. But the stuff that I had no problem with, all the underwater stuff, the stuff that you were in your lab and you were examining the evidence, and you had to like put things into, this saline bath, and then you had to like dry it over here or do this. It was all just mundane and boring, and you're just doing exactly what they're telling you to do. So you're not even like learning different skills in this lab to do stuff. You're just doing what you're told, and it's boring and horribly done. And then there's that whole section where you're supposed to be able to watch the Titanic sink and watch all the characters play out and everything.
Oh, that's not in 3D, is it?
It's not. It's
not.
It's
not in VR.
No, it's not in VR. It's just a 360 video.
Oh, it's the weirdest 360 video I've ever seen too.
And on PC, it's actually in VR.
Are you kidding?
Nope.
I don't know what's up with that.
That's
no,
fucked.
but to me, what was weird was like I don't know. Usually 360, it's like you feel still like a 3D presence. This was literally like a flat image, like copied around you. It was the weirdest thing.
Any other game that uses Very VR does not feel like you're right there.
Very VR is terrible.
It feels like shit.
Yeah.
And anytime they do that on PSVR games, it's no good. Maybe there's some good YouTube videos that look okay or something in 360.
Not really.
But 180 VR is the way to do it, really. 180 is much better than 360. And you got to have the depth to it. Like, why not? Whatever. Right. Are those the same people that made Apollo 11 experience?
I don't think so. Because
I thought it was, but maybe I'm wrong on that.
I can take a quick look and find out.
Either way, I didn't like Apollo that much either.
I didn't like Apollo.
Think Apollo
very
was
much.
very good.
I actually didn't mind Apollo. It wasn't great looking, but it was just kind of cool. Like I like history like that, so I liked it for that aspect of it, and it was kind of cool. I like the end of Apollo 11. Definitely not anything like high budget, big budget or anything.
You're right, Dave. They are both made by Immersive VR Education. My apologies.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
I think Titanic, uses texture work a lot better. I think obviously when you're under the water and you're exploring the Titanic, it's all very muddy and gray, and like the texture work isn't great, but it gives you that sense of I can just explore wherever I want to. Where Apollo was,
I like that part. Yeah.
Apollo was rough. Apollo looked
the controls in Apollo awful.
Controls are bad.
And occasionally they throw you like a gameplay segment where they're like, land the lunar lander. And if you tried it,
that landing was so ridiculous.
Such a pain in the ass where you're like, okay, wait a second. I can skip this part. I'm going to skip this part.
I went back and just did it all.
Dude, I skipped the shit. I did not
care. The only problem with that is you don't get to jump around on the you skip. So it's more fun to get on the moon and jump around. That's literally like the only good thing. The ending of it was kind of cool, falling back to as well. But yeah, educational stuff. Just I want it to be good because it's a great idea. But every single, whether it be in PlayStation or outside of PlayStation, every single educational thing I go to or try out is just never.
Yeah. All right, you guys. I think that pretty much does it for all of our PSVR news and talk of the week. I just want to remind everybody who wasn't here for the beginning of the show that we do have an official date for the GameCat meetup, and that is October 19th. So get that on your schedule. That's going to be at Six Flags New England and here in Agawam, Massachusetts. Basically, from the beginning of the day till the end of the day, we're going to be at Six Flags, all hanging out. Big pack of feral game cats all roaming the park together, going on rides. We're going to have a meetup spot. I'm going to see what I can do. We do have a few connections over there, at least a connection. We're going to see if we can get some group rates, but that'll all be stuff that happens over the next few days, over the next week. We'll figure that stuff out. But now we're about 3 months out from the GameCat meetup. Make sure if you're interested in coming, you get your flights now or your bus tickets or whatever it is, because, man, the flights are ridiculously cheap right now. So start planning that if you're interested in coming. Also, make sure you join us on our Discord server, because that is where those discussions are happening pretty much nonstop.
Yeah.
And everyone's showing up. Jeremy will be there, Des, Amanda, AJ, Dave, me, and of course, like a ton of cats already said that they're very interested in coming, making plans already. So October 19th, put it on your calendar and start making plans now.
And also, just want to mention that AJ silently threw 2 codes for Telefrag in the North America without saying anything in the chat. So go fast, type in real quick on the PSN and see if you can get those Telefrag codes.
They were supposed to send me those Telefrag codes a while back when we gave the 2 EU ones out. And then they just messaged me today and they're like, "Did we ever give these to you?" No. And they're like, "Here you go." I was like, "All right, thank you."
I didn't even know we were doing a giveaway. That was real sly. You didn't even say.
That was pretty sly. Nice. All right, guys, make sure you go check out AJ on his own channel, PSVR Underground, and make sure you check out all of the work he does here on Without Parole. Also, make sure you subscribe to Davestation VR as well, and make sure if you don't subscribe to Without Parole, you do that too. Make sure you hit us up on patreon.com/withoutparole games for $1 or more every single month. And like I said, join our Discord server. That's where everything happens.
It's so much fun. That's where everything happens.
I apologize to everyone on the PS4 community that It's
I know. I went in there for like a couple.
The leftovers. They've been left.
I feel
behind.
so awful.
I know. No, it's bad because they were just like, "Where is everybody?"
It's just hard. It's hard to use that thing. It's hard to use that thing. There's no PC app for it. If I can't sit at my PC and use the community, then it's kind of useless. So if you are part of the community, make sure you migrate on over to Discord, and you're going to be want to be on Discord anyway for when we do the top 20 list, because that's going to be where all the voting takes place. So guys, thank you very much. What do you
Top
think?
20 soon, baby. Top 20 soon.
2 weeks.
Woo!
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
And next week we're going to have a guest host. Do you have any idea who that's going to be yet, or are we going to figure that out?
Yeah, we'll figure that out
as we go.
We'll see what happens.
Cool.
Yeah, we'll see.
Could be one of you guys out there in the audience. Who knows?
It could be anybody. All right. Thank you,
Could
AJ.
be Hugh Guyver.
it could be Mick Guyver.
Hey, who knows?
Anything's possible. Thank you, AJ. Thank you, Dave. Thank you, all the Game Cats out there who donated, who watched, who commented. We love you all.
Love you so much. Thank you, Cats. See you in the Discord.
We're Brian Paul, and we love you.
We are all Brian Paul.
We're Brian Paul.
Is that how that works? I don't know if that's how that works. I don't know.
Works for me.
So
they're still hearing us, right?
This guy, dude.
They're still hearing us, yeah.
Oh, I had this great idea. I told AJ about. We should some of Jeremy's old stories from previous GamesCasts and just use those as the intro and outro,
like from theater and stuff.
No, like
or like the time we had him on or whatever. Just like some Jeremy stories, because that'd be quite an outro. Could be at least 7 or 8 minutes, you know.
Jeremy's one of those people where he tells these stories, and halfway through you're like, I think
why did you tell this?
I think he's full of shit.
Ezra got one of the codes. Hell yeah, man! Congratulations.
And at the very end, you're like, oh, that story went nowhere. Like at first, I thought you were full of shit, and now I think that was a pointless story.
Thank you, Nerf. Thank you, Hugh Guyver. Thank you, Kyle. Thank you, Boyd. What's up, my dude? Thank you,
thanks for tuning in, everybody.
Miles
You guys
Dyer.
are
What's
great.
up, man? Hop on the hype. Good to see you, Gabe. Always a pleasure. So classy.
Also, hop on the hype. No, I don't think that 25-minute 5K is a good time. That's just what I can do. That's all I got. What a jackass. He's like in the comments, like making fun of my run. Fuck you.
It's not a running channel. It's a fucking video game channel.
I love these
Bryson
guys.
Chip. Jason, what's up, dude? Charlie, good to see you, man. Thank you.
All right. We're out of here.
Still time. Bye.
We're out of here.
Stay out of trouble still.
Later.
Bye, everyone.